The situations in our lives are programmed. The scenarios that we're dealing with, they seem to us so unique only because we're looking from a very close distance to them. And that's what's stopping us from being much more effective in dealing with these things. I had a chance to see this very clearly for myself in that same experience that I already talked about in the forest on Ladaga. In that during that same trip, I've received a chance to get this realization from my guides. They organized the chance opportunity for me to clearly get the point of the tarot deck of the major arcana that I'm working with right now. And in this video, I'll be just talking about this incident that happened and how it unfolded and what it taught me about the nature and the structure of our reality. So, during that camp that we had in the forest, with that spiritual team of students from my school, we were having classes every day of the week, except for Sunday. I guess it was the only day off from the classes, and on that day off, we were allowed to just do whatever and spend the time as we wish. And so one of the classmates there offered me to leave the forest for that day, just go outside of the forest, do something in the city, because we're not far from St. Petersburg. And he offered to drive to the nearest cinema, for example. He offered me to go to the cinema together, and I was like, yeah, why not? Let's go, let's do it. The day was free, so we jumped into the car and started driving towards the city. The goal was to reach the cinema and find a movie to watch and then come back. And on that road, since we have time and we don't really know much about each other, we were classmates, but it was like an online school, so we never really had much time to interact directly and learn about each other. So we started asking asking each other questions, to get to know each other better. And he asked me about my experience in Turkey, in Istanbul, with my first teacher, with whom who gave me some the first initiation, and where I just started studying. And he asked me a few questions about that, and for some reason I felt like telling one of the stories, one of the experiences from that specific period of my life, where my first teacher told me, asked me, he gave me a task, one of the first tasks I was given in order to learn the skills and stuff. And before I came to the studies, basically all of my career was mostly oriented in making decisions and ruling teams of people, and I was more into that kind of activities. And suddenly in this position I had to switch to the level of the mindset of serving people, which was weird and new and unusual for me. And surrender, the idea of surrender, it started from the learning how to serve people, because up until then I knew how to rule people and how to control people and how to guide or suppress, and not how to serve. So the first task that my teacher gave me was the assignment to take care of a paralyzed man who lived in a city outside of Istanbul. So my task was to get on a bus every morning. To get on a bus, road was taking like 1.5 or 2 hours maybe. Arrive at that man's home, perform certain Ayurvedic procedures with him, like there's all kind of oil treatments and stuff. And that story, I felt like sharing that while we were driving. I said that there was this family whose like only son got neck damaged. He basically broke his neck while jumping off yacht in the sea. And this was a very rich family, and they were like his father was well known in that city, and they were wealthy, and they were like well educated, and he was like the hope of the family. He was so bright, he was so clever, so kind, so talented, like everything from all sides. He was his future was looking so bright. And then one day he was studying in the best university in Istanbul, in the most the most complicated faculty, like with mathematics or something. So he was clever, and he was good looking. He was tall, and he was pretty handsome, and he was like kind. He had a lot of friends. He traveled all around the world. He was like life was good to him. And then one day they were like on a yacht with friends out in the sea, and he jumped into the water and broke his neck, and he was paralyzed. Like only his head, like all up to his neck was like he was able to control, and he had no control of the rest of the body. Like everything below the neck was paralyzed. And that was it. That was like the story of that guy who was like my teacher was sending me to give him these Ayurvedic procedures, which they required from my teacher's place, I guess. And so to me, like I've never served anyone, I've never taken care of anyone, and I was kind of like my feelings were like mixed. Like, how do I, okay, I'm ready to do it, okay, how do I do it, how do I behave, how do, like, what do I put on, like how do I look, like when I go, I should be like a nurse, how do nurses dress, like should I wear, like I had no idea, like should I put on this dress, like a skirt, like longer one, to look more like a nurse, and like a nun, or like how do I look, like how do I act, how do I, and I had the set of the skills that they've given me, which was enough to perform that procedure. And while performing that procedure, I was supposed to get some kind of like contact with the boy, and I remember myself arriving to that place and looking around, like it's a very beautiful house, and I walk into the room, and I see on the walls pictures of that boy, like skiing, traveling all around the world. There's like pictures him being here, being there, all around, like in that country, in this country, on the top of the mountain, in the sea, and getting some awards for like his studies, like with like his life is on the walls, and it's amazing, and this like family is amazing, and the like he looks like as a very like handsome and clever and gifted, and he's paralyzed. And that feeling, like how do I act, how do I behave, how do I, and I try to establish some kind of communication, like try to be nice, and right away he starts like attacking. He starts like being so witty and so kind of like rude, because like he's been in this condition for a number of years already, and he's kind of like, all right, one more came, yeah, you'll just try, you just like, oh, come here, do things, like nothing's gonna help anyway. And he acts like he knows everything, and he tries to like kind of like bite you, and he tries to um, like kind of like attack in a way with his like wit. And you understand, like, you can't argue with him. You can like, how do I behave? Like, I can't argue, I cannot like behave like the way I would if he would be healthy. And it was like, I tried to explain that there is a point. He was like making fun of like, what's the point of this? Like, what's the point of my life? What's the point of doing something? What's the point of trying to do something with this body? It's like hopeless. It's pointless. Like this body is not going to return to life anyway. And I tried to talk him out of it. Try to like, life is still going, you're still alive, there's other things to focus on. And he would just make fun of like this logic, like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's so easy for you to talk about it because you're like healthy and you're fine, and you don't know how it feels like being just like a vegetable laying here. And you can't actually argue. Try to convince him that actually there is a chance that nerves can like reconnect, and there is a chance that like a miracle can happen. There's like these cases, there is these examples, like there is like miracles can happen. You just need to want it, you just need to believe in it. But he couldn't believe in it because he was already too smart. He was like a mathematician, and he was like, his brain was so he knew that nerves do not reconnect. And that was basically the experience that I was sharing while we're driving towards the cinema. And I was sharing like how he behaved, our conversations. Like, I was going into like specific details of my emotions, my impressions when I see those pictures on the walls. Then when I first don't know like like how long should my skirt be when I come, like how should I talk to his mother, how should I like behave with him when he's attacking, and all of these things. Like, I was going in details. And then I came to the moment when I was like, actually, like, it was like, sometimes you're one of the days, like some of the days you're coming, like I was doing it as like my service. I have to do it every morning. I would get up, go there, like spend this time with him. He would try to attack me, I would just do my job. And I would try to just, he like stand to all of his attacks when he tried to prove me that this thing is pointless. This, like, they're all attempts to try to fix him are like meaningless. And when slowly he started opening up. He started kind of like asking questions. He started like asking me, while I was gone, he would be researching some information online, reading something with help of others, of course. And then he would ask me more questions the next time I come in. There, like, discussion started building slowly with time. With every time that I was coming, he was opening up. And at a certain point, he was even ready to, like, he wasn't leaving home for, like, nobody could convince him to go outside. Even though he had all the equipment and the car and everything was like organized and arranged, he wouldn't go outside. But slowly, he was like, he felt able to do it. He went outside. He tried to do things, tried to at least not do things, but at least try to see the world, at least participate in a way, at least. And there was this moment in this story where, like, after I gave all the details, and I gave that very colorful moment at the end of our interaction, where there was a moment when one of the days when I finished my work with him, I would be leaving the room, and there was his nurse who was looking after him, and his mother. They were standing with me by the door while I'm putting my shoes on before I leave. And we're standing at this entrance, and he's back in the room. I just left the room and coming to the door, and we suddenly hear him singing. He starts suddenly, like, bursts singing with a full voice. He starts singing some like Barış Manço's song. It's like some Turkish, like, bright and energetic song. Full voice, he sings, and this nurse and the mother, they're shocked, they're paralyzed, like, this is not our boy, like, what happened to him, like, he's singing, they're like all shocked, they're paralyzed, and I see like eyes, like tears in their eyes, and I'm shocked myself too of that change, that shift in his state, of his consciousness, of that happened when he started singing. It was like something is like that shift. In that specific moment, I told to my classmate as we're driving. I don't remember more details, maybe I shared. The story goes like that. We come to some nearest shopping mall outside of St. Petersburg. We search for the cinema. We find it. We come to the, like, on where all the posters of the movies that are currently on, and there are like several, and we're like, which one should we choose? I have no idea, like, and I see like that poster is pulling me. There was one poster that's kind of like calling to me, and I said, I don't know, that one kind of pulling me. And the classmate says, yeah, it's calling on me too. Like, we both felt pulled by that poster. So that's the movie that we're going. Okay, let's go. 2 tickets. We get it, and it's already starting. Let's go. Just a few minutes. And we enter the movie theater, and the movie starts, and it starts exactly with like the step by step, the story that I was just telling as we were driving to the cinema. Those of you who, like, many of you, I guess, already understood what movie was there that day on the screen. Like the movie with the, is like the absolutely same scenario, and I was paralyzed. Like, apparently there was like, why I'm telling the story, just like a note. I was sharing this story with my friend because at that moment I felt like this is one of the most special, maybe most unusual, most like not most interesting, but one of the special things, like unique stories, maybe. Yeah, I felt like it's something unique that happened to me in my life, and I wanted to share something special about me, some story that's unique, that's interesting, and that's unique to me. That's why I was sharing it. And imagine my feeling, like what's going on with me and with my classmate as the movie starts, and the actress starts going through every step by step, every motion that I was just explaining about myself. Like, apparently there was already a book written years back, and there was this movie made, I don't know, recently or a while before, which I was not aware of. Like, I'm telling the story, I wouldn't be telling the story now if I knew that that book existed already, and there would be nothing interesting in the story then if I would be just retelling this the scenario. But this is what was the shock of the situation, was that realization that everything that's happening on the screen, it's just step by step by step by step, exactly the same thing that was happening with me in my real life, in my own life. And I felt that that story was unique, and there was nothing unique about it. There's like, the most unique story about me is not unique. That was like, I felt I've been tricked, I felt I've been played, and that, like, we were sitting, I remember me and my friend, and he like, I'm like, every word that repeats on the screen from the things that I was just telling when we hear similarities, like I feel like I see goosebumps on myself and on him, and we're looking at each other like, what is this? What is happening? And he's looking at me and asking like, what are you? Who are you? What is this? What is, like, are you a witch? What is happening? How did you know that this movie is gonna be on? Why, like, why, how, what is this? And he's paralyzed by shock. I am like crying already when I'm watching this whole movie, of like exactly the same scenario, of the, like, I forgot the name of the movie right now because I'm while talking, but the actress is so, like, how could I forget the name? I'm so bad with names. I forgot even the name of the actress. I'm sorry. Very, very, very pretty actress. I think her name is Emily, and the last name I don't remember. I'm sorry, but I'll write it down somewhere for those who are curious. There is a movie actually with the girl when she gets a job. Her mother of a man hires her to watch over her son who had been paralyzed, and she enters their rich house, and the family is so rich, but the man is paralyzed, but the man is so handsome and so clever and so witty. And she enters and she sees all these walls with the pictures on which this man, before he was paralyzed, he's skiing, he's flying, like jumping with parachutes, he's there, he's here, his life is so full. And then he enters the room and they start interacting, and he's like attacking her with the same wit, with all these comments. And then they slowly she tries to solve it, and they even show like how she was picking like what to wear to the first day, like skirt, how she was trying to find the proper skirt to wear, for the, like, which would be appropriate for this kind of work. Like those details were like exactly the same, which gave me that feeling like, is there anything unique about my life? Is there, like, how is this possible? Like this scenario has been written like bit by bit, and like it gave me this realization, like that my guides were trying to tell me that all of our lives, like the points where it seems so unique to us, they're like nothing unique. It's just a program. It's written like a scenario, step by step, and we just like have to go. Like the difference that we can experience is like in combination of that scenario after this one, or options like that one after that one, as like that's the how far we can deviate. But the scenarios are all same, and there is a certain set of scenarios prepared for us, and our task is to just perform each task as like in a computer game. You'll say like all the sets are already pre-written, pre-programmed, and we're supposed to go from level to level to level and perform certain action on each one. So it seems unique to us just because we're not aware of the rest that everyone else is experiencing exactly the same thing. And that's where my journey deep into the major arcana of tarot began, because like my guides, that was my guide's way to show me the structure of the tarot, that it is like the language, the book of tarot, which is actually a description of these scenarios. And that if once you know all the scenarios, you are able to recognize the patterns, like which pattern is playing out right now. And when you know like which pattern is like meant to mean what, is like once you know that, you're like, okay, you know how to pass that stage, you know how to solve that equation. And that experience kind of like stripped me off that illusion of uniqueness of my life, and it gave me the kind of felt disappointing to be not to be special anymore, but it gave some kind of hope that if there is a certain set of scenarios, there is a chance like to solve this equation called life. At least there is hope in that there is something outside of it. If it's predictable, it's good. Let's predict, let's solve, and then see what's outside, what's above all that. And probably the most dramatic moment was at the end of the movie when my friend Alexander, by the way, maybe one day he'll watch this. He was sitting like at the very end. He was like totally like smashed. He was like, I believe even seeing tears in his eyes. I remember like seeing tears in his eyes when he was like, just like, how, how, what is this world? What is happening? What are you? What is this? What am I doing here? Why is this happening? He was just feeling like as the movie, the scenes and scenario was opening up, and when he saw more and more similarities, and we were just looking at each other, and at the very last moment when we were already, he was crying, I'm crying, we're all like all goosebumps, and all the hair is up, and we were like sitting in that state, both of us, not understanding what's going on. And I remember us just like through tears, we were kind of like laughing, looking at each other, and he says like, come on, if he also starts singing at the very end, then I give up. Like, I'm done here. If like, and we laugh about it. Like, we just make it's a joke he makes, and the movie goes on. And believe it or not, but at the end of that movie, the guy comes out and he starts singing, and that was just like the knockdown. It was, for me and him, we left that cinema in complete like disorientation. Like, where are we? What is this world? What is this reality? What's happening? Are they playing with us? What's happening? What's going on? And that was that's the experience that shows clearly like how little uniqueness is in those scenarios that we're living. It's kind of sad from one side, but on the other hand, it gives the all the tools to someone who studies all the scenarios, and then the life doesn't look like some kind of chaos, some kind of chaotic set of events, when you really know what things are supposed to happen, in which sequence, and what to do in on each stage. Then you feel kind of like you're still in the game, but you're not just like not, you have a chance to win. That's just my conclusion. Once you know how the game is constructed, there is a chance to win this game. So that's what I'm doing, that's what I'm working on, and that's what I'm willing to help you with if you're interested. That's all for now. Bye.